We'll go ahead and call our meeting back to order. Ms. Clemens, will you read us out of closed, please?
I move that the Roanoke County School Board come out of closed session for the following: to discuss the acquisition of real property for a public purpose where discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the school board pursuant to the real property exemption at 2.2-3711A3 of the Code of Virginia. I move. Do I keep reading?
You can do the second one.
Okay. I move to certify to the best of each member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements under this chapter, and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed meeting was convened were heard, discussed, or considered in the meeting by the school board.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Greenway.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Linden.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Clemens.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Kachani.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hudson.
Yes, ma'am. Item 2.03, action from closed. Dr. Nicely, I don't believe we need to make any action from closed, do we? All right. Welcome, everyone. If I can have you stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Item 4.01, announcement of changes in the agenda.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I would like to ask that item 8.02 be added to the agenda. Item 8.02 would be approval of the superintendent to enter into an agreement with Roanoke City regarding school buses.
A second?
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Greenway.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Linden.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Clemens.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Kachani.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hudson.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Item 4, I guess we already approved the agenda on that, right? We need to do that. 4.02, approval of agenda with announced changes.
So moved.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Greenway.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Linden.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Clemens.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Kachani.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hudson.
Yes, ma'am. All right, we're going to move on to item 5.02. The recognition of Skills USA will be at a later date. So 5.02, recognition of the winner of the Virginia Technology and Engineering Education Association Program of the Year. Herman L. Horn, Ms. Kim Bradshaw. Welcome, Ms. Bradshaw.
Good evening. Wait for Horn to get up here. So it gives me great pleasure, Chair, board members, Dr. Nicely, to share with you that we had some award winners at Virginia Technology and Engineering Education Association Conference in July. So we'll start with Herman L. Horn. Herman L. Horn won their statewide Program of the Year for all of the initiatives that they do in their building for engineering and technology. So I'm just going to read what the plaque says, and then I'll let Julie share a little bit about Horn and all the amazing things they do and why they won this award. This has been awarded to Herman L. Horn for the 2024 Elementary School Program of the Year for leadership, excellence of instruction, management of classroom resources, professionalism, and commitment to ensuring that students develop knowledge and abilities pertaining to the study of design, engineering, and technology, given on July 23rd, 2024 in Roanoke. So congratulations to Horn.
On behalf of myself and the staff at Herman L. Horn, we'd just like to say we're very honored to have this recognition, and it's thanks to a wonderful school board who supports our initiatives. So thank you to our school board, to our superintendent with his leadership. We are doing our best at Horn to make our students opportunity ready. We've been able to use Title I funding to help build a very nice STEM lab. We've got great folks on staff with our leadership to help lead the teachers and the students in our STEM initiatives, and we're very proud of the work that we're doing and the accomplishments that we've made. We feel very strongly that all students need exposure to STEM, but especially kids that are in a Title I school, and so we're working really hard to give those students opportunities that they might not have outside of the school day. And so we are opportunity ready at Herman L. Horn. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
He said
going?
just Tim, but I don't know.
It's just Tim.
Well done, Ms. Ansel.
Item 5.03, recognition of the Virginia Technology and Engineering Education Association Teacher of the Year, Ms. Kelly Cook. Ms. Kim
So-
Bradshaw.
Roanoke County was very popular at this conference in July, so we can get Kelly and Ms. Anderson. Kelly was awarded the Teacher of the Year for the state of Virginia, or Commonwealth of Virginia, so we're very proud of her. Her plaque reads, "For leadership, excellence of instruction, professionalism, and commitment to ensuring that students develop knowledge and abilities pertaining to the study of design, engineering, and technology." So congratulations to Ms. Cook.
Thank you. I just want to say it's a privilege to be able to work at a school where the staff is so dedicated to engineering and everything STEM. We also had a Teacher of the Year last year, and this year we're trying to get a drone program off the ground. So great things going on at Green Valley. So thank you all for all your support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 5.04, recognition from the Virginia Technology and Engineering Education Association for Leadership and Service, Mr. Jason Sir.
So a conference can't go off, especially at the state level, without much help. So I know VTEA reached out to Jason and said, "Hey, we're going to be hosting this conference in Roanoke, and we need your help." So Jason started out that venture, and then he realized the venture got a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. So they also awarded him, and his is a certificate of recognition for noteworthy leadership and service to students of the Commonwealth of Virginia as a conference host of the Virginia Association of the Technology Student Association. So congratulations.
Congratulations.
And I'll just say a quick word, couldn't have gone on without the help of Mr. Lineberger, working very hard on the program for the conference. That was quite an endeavor. And then Mr. Moore in the print shop helping out, Mr. Jones helping out with some of the activities one of the afternoons. So it was fun to bring the teachers from across the Commonwealth to Roanoke. Heard that was happening. I thought it sounded like a great opportunity to let people know how great this area is, and hopefully some of them start thinking about our area, because that's a hard to recruit position. So anyway.
Thank you.
And as you all are getting seated, what I didn't share with you is that both Herman L. Horn and Green Valley will be at the international conference for this particular association. So they will be presenting all of their knowledge to folks from all around the world, and that will occur in the spring. So congratulations to our folks.
Big deal.
Thank you, Ms. Bradshaw. Item 5.05, we're also going to have to recognize at a later date. So 5.06, recognition of the 2024 VHSL Girls 3A State Winner in Outdoor Track 400 meters, Northside High School, Ms. Simone Hamler, Ms. Jill Green, Mr. Tyler Deacon, and Ms. Kristen Hunt. Mr.
Chairman, members of the board, Dr. Nicely. She has an extra spring in her step. Tonight is special. We have had a great day. And when I looked at my calendar, I thought, well, this is just a unique experience, but it makes it extra special because Simone is an alumni now of Northside High School. And she will be leaving us next week to attend George Mason and to continue her academic career and to participate in the track program. It is not the first time that you have seen Simone. We wish you the best. We are extremely proud of how you have represented our school during your time there. So thank you. And I will let Coach Hunt share the latest of your accolades.
Lower it a little bit. All right, well, thank you for having us. I'm going to apologize for how I look. I came from cross country, and it was the first day of first grade for me, so it's a little. And I'm going to read, because if I start talking about you, I'm just going to cry. So I'm just going to go on and read. So thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak about and celebrate recent graduate Simone Hamler. I'm Kristen Hunt. I am the head coach for cross country and track and field for Northside, along with Nina Rodriguez, Chip Addison, and Tyrell Mackenheimer. So I'm speaking for all of them who are unable to be here. This is my third and sadly final time speaking to you about Simone. She has previously won the VHSL Class 3 Track and Field State Championship in the 300 meters for indoor last year, and then the 200 and 400 last year as well. This year, after battling an injury as well as some new schools, much tougher schools joining our Class 3A, she repeated her 400-meter win in outdoor this year for 2024. So that's 4 total rings. So Simone, this is a whole lot. Some of it is just bits and pieces because it was a lot going on. Simone is a repeat. That means more than once, sometimes 3 times. Cosmopolitan Track meet Senior Division Runner of the Year, repeat Blue Ridge District Runner of the Year, indoor and outdoor track, Region 3D Runner of the Year, I think 3 years running for indoor and outdoor track. She was named to the all-time Lynn Track and Field first team 2 years in a row. Honorable mention 2 years prior to that. She has represented Northside nationally in Virginia Beach twice, Greensboro twice, and then this summer she qualified and was accepted to compete in the most prestigious high school meet in the country, University of Pennsylvania. And that, I just want to talk about that for a second. She qualified by time, and then they kept rejecting her time because they were only taking, I think, 40 girls in the whole nation. And so they made the time quicker and quicker and quicker. And it was, a week before, you've got a different time, and she finally got in. So she was running against the absolute best girls. The 16-year-old who ran at the Olympics, he was running right before her. So those are the kids that she's running against. It's not just kids locally. It was the best of the best of the best. Very impressive. Okay. Simone ended her high school track career with 4 state championships, a state runner-up title, 12 state medals. I may have counted wrong. There may be more. She earned All-American honors at the Adidas Nationals. She broke several meet and facility records throughout her high school career. She is leaving Northside as the 100-meter record holder. She broke a record from 1987. The 200-meter record, and that was about 12 years old. The 300-meter record was 10 years old, and the 400-meter record, which was also 12 years old, and the mixed 4x4 relay record. The spring Simone was Northside's nominee, which is I think we're going to talk about next, but I'm going to go ahead. So she was a nominee along with Nick Crawford for the Benai Brith Athletic and Achievement Award. After a 31-year drought, Simone won the female award along with William Byrd's Israel Harrelson. This was a huge honor, and they were the absolute best of the best. So they are not just the best athletes, they are the best academically and well-rounded kids. So I've got the book if anybody wants to look at it. These kids from the schools around here, they have a half page of all their accolades. Absolutely amazing kids, and she was our winner for the area. Wow. The awards and honors have been earned, but Simone is much more than what is on my paper. She is humble, she is bashful, she is fierce, she is kind, she is fashionable, and she has faith. She worked for everything she has and achieved. She has opened the door for other female athletes from Northside to set and reach their own goals. She is well liked by her peers and coaches from all over the state. Her family and supporters are the backbone of this young woman. They have done a phenomenal job raising her. Mom, that is you. Next week, Simone is headed to George Mason, where she will run track, and keep your eyes open. Olympics LA 2028. Thank you so much. It's been a privilege.
Thank you. Congratulations.
amazing. I can't wait to watch you at the Olympics.
Well, that's all different. Separate it is. All right. Families get first shots, so go right ahead.
All right, item 5.07, recognition of the 2024 B'nai B'rith female winner, Northside High School, Ms. Simone Hamler.
Thank you, Board, for having us here today. I'm Tyler Deacon. I'm the athletic director at Northside. Coach Hunt spoke a bit about Simone winning the B'nai B'rith Award, but I wanted to add a little bit to that. For those of you who don't know, the B'nai B'rith Award is really a well-rounded award. It entails athletics, academics, and community service. So that says a lot about Simone as a person, that she not only excels in track and volleyball, but in the classroom, and then does a lot for the community as well. So Ms. Green and I and the other faculty and staff at Northside, we like kids that are well-rounded and try to encourage kids to be well-rounded and be involved in as many things as possible. And having Simone in our school last year and the last 4 years to be a leader and be an example of that is a huge accomplishment and a huge testament to her. Sorry, my notes went away there. A couple other things about Simone. One thing that we see a lot today, especially somebody who's as successful in track as Simone is, a lot of times those people will specialize in that sport. So the fact that Simone continued to play volleyball throughout her 4 years of high school says a lot to me about her. Again, we encourage kids to be involved in as many things as possible and to play multiple sports. So I'm proud of Simone for continuing to play volleyball, because it would have been really easy to say, I'm going to college to run track. I'm going to spend all my time on track. But, she was a member of the volleyball team for 4 years. So that stands out a lot to me. And also, lastly, one other thing about Simone, we talked about the community service part of the B'nai B'rith. There was many times this summer where there's not a whole lot going on campus. The principals are working, I'm working. But I would go outside to do something, and Simone would be there, and she'd be working out. But there'd be a couple younger kids on the track team working out with her. So the fact that she was letting them work out with her and showing them ways to get better says a lot about her character as well. So lastly, Simone, congratulations on your high school career. Thanks for all you've done for Northside. Good luck at George Mason, and I have a gift for you as you go. Your 4th state championship ring is here. So.
That's so cool.
All right, you're good. Thanks. Thank you all.
Yeah, we gotta keep it right. I gotta put it on, yeah.
Oh, she's going out, I think. Oh, no, she must know her. Are we all doing it? Oh, okay.
Wow, what an amazing young lady. Item 5.08, recognition of meritorious budget award from Association of School Business Officials International, Superintendent Dr. Nicely.
Want our finance team to come up here and join us? Mr. Chair, members of the board, the Association of School Business Officials International has announced that Roanoke County Public Schools budget has received the Meritorious Budget Award for FY 2025. This award reflects the district's commitment to sound fiscal management and budgetary policies. The association noted the following: the budget is a good document that includes a wealth of information in graphic and narrative form. The document is user-friendly for the average taxpayer, with an abundance of data presented in different formats to meet the needs of varied readers. Many components are suitable as standalone documents. The review team congratulates the district for their ongoing commitment to the Meritorious Budget Award. So we want to congratulate our finance team for their diligent work in earning this award on behalf of Roanoke County Public Schools. And they have this nice plaque to hang down there in the office. Congratulations. You want to say something, Susan?
Sure, I'll say a quick little comment. Thank you for recognizing me, Dr. Nicely, school board, all of your support. We couldn't do what we do without all of your support. And most importantly to me is my team. Kathy Rawlings is our associate director. Wave your hand. And then our finance managers, Kim Caldwell, Amanda Haley, Beverly Edmonds, and our newest addition, Ms. Elaine Karbowski, came from our school to fill a finance analyst position. This is the best group of professional ladies that I have had the opportunity to work with, and I'm just overjoyed to have them with me. And I couldn't do what I do without all the work that they do. They do a lot behind the scenes to support the division and every school out there. So thank you.
Thank you. I want to come down and shake everyone's hand because I know the hard job that you have and just the dedication that each of you have to make this happen, because I know not only us as a board are constantly changing things, but the state changes things, and we're always like, how much money do we have, Susan? So we greatly appreciate your service. We're going to come down, shake your hand, take a picture if that's all right. Item 6.01, hearing of citizens for agenda topics. During this portion of the meeting, citizens are invited to address the board on topics listed on the agenda for this meeting. In the interest of time, speakers must be either parents, employees, students, or citizens of Roanoke County. We ask speakers to be respectful and civil in their comments, observing due respect of the dignity and privacy of others who may be affected by public comments. Speakers should be aware that they may be held legally responsible if they make statements that violate the legal rights of others. For example, if statements are made that are defamatory or threatening. Comments likely to disrupt the board's work or prompt breach of the peace are prohibited, and the speaker will be called out of order by the chair. Speakers must address the board chair rather than individual board members. Speakers have 3 minutes to make their comments and will be signaled by the lights on the podium. When the light turns yellow, please wrap up your comments and finish before the light turns red. Please be aware that board members listen to comments but do not respond. Mr. Ryan Wright.
Members of the board, thank you for your time tonight. My name is Dr. Ryan White. I use he, him pronouns. Before I jump into the topic, I'd like to thank the board for recent efforts to get feedback from the community that we serve regarding the cell phone policies. While there are some conflicting opinions on the cell phone use policy, we at least took the time to get some data collection and saw a trend that supported restricting use in some fashion. While the information collected was not unanimous, and there are still tough questions that remain unanswered today, we did have a chance to collect data about the policy and see what the community would like. And simply put, this is a huge step in the right direction of engaging our community in really big decisions, and I'm optimistic that we'll continue to find more efforts to improve the dialogue. Second, happy back to school. Tough time for everybody, I believe. I think I can speak for us all when I say I hope this year is a great one. And for many of us, and many of the students, it will be. But the reality is it won't be for all. Many students will continue to struggle this year. They might have anxiety, they might have depression, perhaps they have learning disabilities that have been either overlooked or under-supported for one reason or another. Many may have trauma histories, or maybe they're in foster care. Maybe they live in households where relationships are unhealthy or they're unable to express themselves. These are all common situations and stressors that I see on a daily basis right here in Roanoke County where I serve students. These students all need and deserve our support in any way we can offer it. One way in which we can do that is to create schools that foster connection and getting to the point of the agenda topic here, and to model healthy relationships and mentoring. We need to make sure that when we draft policies that we do so in ways that are not going to jeopardize these relationships. On the agenda is a proposed new policy for maintaining appropriate boundaries with staff and students, and it appears on the surface to be very well intended. However, the closer I dug into the current verbiage of it, the more concerns I had about potential for unintended consequences. Currently, there's a lot of very specific lists about prohibited behaviors between staff and students. And I don't think a person in our community would argue that our teachers should be allowed to engage in sexual acts with students, shouldn't be able to share pornography with students, or otherwise put students in harm's way. But the good news is, those are already illegal activities, and there's laws to protect our students against that. I don't think the policy as currently written is going to give us any new law enforcement power, nor allow us to create more severe criminal recourse for these actions. The policy does, however, list several ways in which teachers should not engage with conversations about family or relationships. And I'm worried that that might drive a wedge between students and their teachers. And I know I'm about out of time. I'll wrap it up. I think we should take a moment to reread, revise the policy, maybe reframe it to highlight positive interactions we'd like to encourage and mentoring rather than things that are already prohibited by law. Appreciate your time. I hope you have a good rest of your night.
Thank you, Dr. White. Item 7, consent agenda. These are items that we've previously spoke about in work sessions and prior meetings.
Move that we approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Greenwood.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Linden.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Clemens.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Johnny.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hudson.
Yes, ma'am. Item 8.01, approval of delegate and alternate for the VSBA Delegate Assembly. I believe we have chosen that. Dr. Nicely, did you want to speak about that, or do you want us just to?
No, sir, what you need to do is just, someone needs to make a motion who would serve as the representative from the board as well as the delegate, and then you can just take action on that item.
All right. I'll nominate David Linden for the delegate position.
I'll second.
Madam Clerk?
Is there any discussion on that?
You can do it, you can do
I
it.
think it's unanimous.
I'm sorry.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Mr. Greenwood.
Yeah,
Paper,
absolutely.
scissors.
Mr. Linden.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Clemens.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Johnny.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. We also need to talk about the alternate. I don't mind serving as the alternate if
I would
someone.
make a motion that Chairman Hudson be the alternate for the VSBA delegate.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Greenwood.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Linden.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Clemens.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Johnny.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hudson.
Yes, ma'am. Item 8.02, approval for Dr. Nicely to negotiate terms for school bus usage for Roanoke City.
I'll make that motion that we allow him to negotiate on our behalf.
I'll second.
Madam Clerk?
Well,
I think.
No, we got discussion again?
No,
No, he just had it.
if you wanted to do this, what we need to do is get you to move that, authorize me to negotiate and execute that agreement.
I've
You'll have
got,
to
I've
execute
got the
out.
wording here. I move to authorize the superintendent to negotiate and execute an agreement with Roanoke City Schools for the temporary loaning of 3 school buses.
I was good until execute.
Can't remember that. I'll second.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Greenway,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Linden,
Why didn't you speak up?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Clemens,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Johnny.
Yes, ma'am.
Jeez.
Yes, ma'am. We have nothing for information agenda tonight.
Difficult.
We have no hearing of citizens for non-agenda topics. So we are on to item 11.01, report by Roanoke County School Superintendent, Dr. Nicely.
I think Mr. Lineberger has some photos he'll display of our first day of school as I'm giving my report this evening. Today, of course, was the first day of schools for the 24-25 school year, and it's always so wonderful, of course, to welcome our new students and welcome back our returning students. As I said on my video message that went out to students, parents, and families last evening, whether students are brand new to our schools or are returning, we're so glad to have each one spending this year with us. Our principals, teachers, and staff have been working very hard to prepare for their arrival, and many families have been able to visit our schools for open house, orientation, and schedule pickup events. And I'll just note that when we debriefed this afternoon with our central office staff, who all spent the days in our schools, they said what a huge advantage that is for the schools to do those events, because it was just seamless today, and for most students to come in and know where to go, and it made the day move very smoothly. The energy and excitement is certainly in the air, and more than anything, we want our students and families to feel welcomed. We care about our students, their learning and well-being, and are committed to their success. They're truly the reason we come to work every day. Getting ready for a new school year involves so many people, including our transportation staff, warehouse staff, cleaning staff, maintenance staff, nutrition staff. And I certainly can't name everyone or every role, but as I told the bus drivers and nutrition workers last week, they are an invaluable and important part of what we do as educators to help students learn and look out for their well-being. We truly couldn't do it without them. Dr. Soltis and I have been visiting schools across the district this week, and as I mentioned, all of our central office staff were stationed at schools this morning to offer extra support. I started the day out at Mount Pleasant Elementary this morning and appreciate so much the enthusiasm and positive spirit with which Principal Lane and the teachers and staff there at Mount Pleasant welcomed and greeted students on their first day. New 6th graders, as well as the returning students over at William Byrd Middle, looked equally excited to be back at school and see Principal Knoll and the teachers and staff there. We ended our day at Burlington Elementary and enjoyed riding one of the school buses home to help communicate with parents meeting their children at the bus stop. And I think, Dr. Soltis, we delivered almost all of them. We had 2 we had to return back who were on the wrong bus, but we fixed it. We fixed it. Our last stop was at Northside, where the high school and middle school students also enjoyed their first day. In our meeting this afternoon, the common phrase was just a good vibe in the schools and where everybody visited today. We want to thank our school board members for attending our annual faculty convocation last week at the Berglund Center. We have had so many teachers comment how much they enjoyed our keynote speaker, Debbie Silver, and saying this was the best convocation yet. I've appreciated, I have to say, the several funny comments I've received about my kindergarten report card, which we won't go back over today, and also congratulating me for overcoming my fears and flying in that little airplane. So that was a lot of fun. I'm so very proud of our school system, which I've called home, of course, for going on 32 years, 7 as superintendent. Roanoke County Public Schools is recognized as a top school district in Virginia, and we're fortunate to have national and state award-winning students, teachers, principals, and schools. And of course, we've added to that list just this evening. Just this past week, and we'll have them in to be recognized, but the National Association for Middle Level Education officially announced that Hidden Valley and Cave Spring Middle Schools have been recognized as National Schools of Distinction and will receive their awards in Nashville in November. They are among the first schools in the nation and in Virginia to receive this award. And of course, Hidden Valley Middle, Glenver Middle, Northside Middle, and William Byrd Middle are also currently recognized as national schools to watch, and we're proud of all 5 of our middle schools. Our CPS is also soaring to new heights this year as we celebrate today the official opening of the newly renovated William Byrd High School, and a ribbon cutting ceremony is being scheduled with the school and will be announced soon. We also look forward to groundbreaking ceremonies on August 28th to launch the renovation of W. Cundiff Elementary, September 4th for renovation at Glen Cove Elementary, and September the 9th for the construction of the Roanoke County Career and Technology Center on Peters Creek Road. And don't need to remind everybody, but launching 3 major construction projects simultaneously is truly an historic moment for our school division and our community. I think we can all be very proud of those efforts. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Dr. Nicely. Item 12.01, reports and inquiries of board members. Mr. Linden, would you like to go first?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to start on a little bit of a somber note, but I want to extend my condolences to Dr. Linneberg and his family on the passing of his mother earlier this week. I know when you lose the family matriarch, it's difficult. She began her teaching career over at William Byrd and 38 years as a teacher, many of those here in Roanoke County, and the Linneberg family well respected here in the Roanoke Valley as well, and down in Radford and in that community. I know they touched a lot of lives and throughout Southwest Virginia. So thoughts and prayers with Paul and his family during this extremely difficult time for them. But thank you to Dr. Nicely for the convocation. Last week really was Debbie Silver had a lot of people laughing and just a great way to kick off the school year, and motivational speaker, and it's fun to see all those teachers and administrators get together, and I'm glad you decided to put that together a few years ago and hope it continues on. So welcome back to all the students. Had an opportunity to get around to a number of our schools over the past week, and want to thank Todd and his staff and all the maintenance people, the janitors. Schools were all so clean and welcoming, and everybody's done such a nice job. The teachers, I went to a couple back to school nights or PTA events, and I know they'd rather still be by the pool or at the beach or somewhere, but they were so welcoming and had smiles on their faces, and the kids seemed so excited to be back in the schools and see their teachers, and to see some of the pictures on Facebook and kids back there. So excited to be sitting at their desks today. It's an exciting time of year for them. So just want to thank everybody for their hard work, and looking forward to a good, successful school year. That's all I have.
Ms. Clemens?
Thank you. So it is the first day of school, and there can be a lot of emotions around that. There's a couple of milestones in my family this week. So Charlie started his first day of his senior year. I know that you're looking at me because so first day of his senior year, and then Lila started high school today too. So a little bit of a double whammy. I feel like I probably should have thought that through a little bit better, but anyways, exciting for all of the students. It was also exciting, the very first thing that happens at Cave Spring High School, one of the pictures rolled through. They have the knighting ceremony, just like within 20 minutes of walking into the building. It's a big deal. This was the 65th night, so that went to Charlie Fetzer, so congratulations to her. She actually was in preschool with my Charlie, starting at First Presbyterian, and they referred to them as Charlie Girl and Charlie Boy, and he would probably kill me if I just said that out loud, but he isn't watching, so it's okay. But anyways, congratulations to her. It is a really big deal. They do a really nice ceremony. It's revealed, like they come in, as you can see, with the garb on, and nobody knows who it is until they reveal that, and the principal, Miss Deeds, knights them. So it is very cool. So congratulations to her. There's been a lot of things happening getting ready for this first day of school. All of our Cave Spring schools have had some sort of administrative change. A lot of my schools have brand new principals, so I had an opportunity to meet with all of them. They're going to do a wonderful job, and I really just look forward to working with them. I also had the opportunity to attend several faculty meetings. I was able to go to Clearbrook and Cave Spring Middle and Green Valley last week. So it was really nice to see the teachers and staff before the kids came. I got to meet all of our new teachers and staff, and I just look forward to trying to get to as many faculty meetings as I can throughout the school year. Also, we had Load the Bus, so thank you for Mr. Lineberger for that, another successful event. I was able to get over to Clearbrook and purchase some items, and thank you to all the volunteers that are out there talking to customers as they come in and helping to collect items. As was mentioned, convocation, I just think it was such a wonderful event. Dr. Nicely, you did such a great job. As was mentioned, Debbie Silver was fantastic. She was hilarious, but she had a really heartfelt message. I think it was just really well received. I had not been to convocation before, and the energy in that room to have all of the staff in one place is pretty amazing. And everyone was so excited and enthusiastic, and the school spirit when they named off the schools, it just was really a great way to kick off the school year. So I appreciate your hard work for that, Dr. Nicely. And then just looking forward, I think we're all excited about the groundbreaking ceremonies that are going to come up for both the CTE and then the 2 elementary schools. So that's coming up at the end of this month in September. And that's about all I have. I just hope everybody has a great school year. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Clemens. Mr. Greenway?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A lot of the same. It was a great kickoff with the convocation. It's always fun to see all the teachers in the same place and representing their schools and kind of the spirit that goes along with it and yelling and screaming. It was a lot of fun. I think it is a really good motivational way to kick off the year. I really like it, and thank you for doing that. As mentioned, first day of school, and if you want to humble yourself, go into a kindergarten classroom and see one of those kids' faces, and they're there for the first time, and they're in big school, and it's so cool. It warms your heart and lets you know why you're doing what you're doing, even for us up here. And as we went around and visited some of the schools this week, I've still got a couple I got to get to, but went yesterday and had the pleasure of going to the middle school about the time they were taking the picture, the staff picture, which was, never dreamed. And they found a shirt for me, gave me a T-shirt, and it was a schmedium. but it was still so cool. And to see the staff there, they're so excited, they're ready to go, and it just, it's a rejuvenation to start the year. And, it's kind of like when we get to graduation, I feel a little bit somber because, you're ending and kids are leaving and maybe some are moving up, and it's such a transition. But when you start the year, it's just such a rejuvenation and a start to the year. So it was great to go to the staff, and I got fortunate to get to most of them. And everywhere. They're working hard. They got prepared for the kids, and just amazing to me that they show up the first day and it's so well prepared. You'd think there'd be things go wrong. It would just be a disaster because of all the kids, and but it really is cool. And same sentiments as Dave said about Paul Lindenberg. The Lindenberg family. Thinking about them. Paul's a Vinton guy, and you can see from his Facebook post that what his mother meant to him. Not that all of us, our mothers mean so much, but he was just a neat little tribute to his mother. And I want to give one last item that I'd like for us to think about as we go through the coming months, because we're going to talk about this again. This probably isn't the right time to talk about it, but I think it's also a time to just put it in the back of our minds. As I went around to these various schools, it never fails to, every time I see the teachers working, I think about, us talking about the pay grades and the levels that we are in the other counties and how we compare and where we stack. And as some of our Board of Supervisors mentioned a couple months ago, one asked, well, how are we planning to close the pay gap? And, the other one talked about, reducing the percentage, that we're given. I think that's a good opportunity for us to think as we go into our next budget season, which is a few months away, to think about how we can close the gap and how we've raised $15 million in revenue the last year. We'll raise it again this year because nothing's really changed from the 2 years that it was brought up. I think it's an opportunity for us to ask our counterparts on the board, maybe to give up a couple percent of that $15 million that they raised to raise teacher pay. I think that's a fair ask. We're putting everything we've got into these budgets, and our salaries are somewhere in the 80% range of the budget and the money we get. And then for them to ask us that, I think it's a fair ask for us to consider something outside what the revenue share brings when they're getting the extra $15 million a year from real estate assessments. So just think about that over the next coming months, and maybe something we can discuss as we get in. But we have the most amazing teachers and staff, and I know I see most of Vinton, but we get around in the other districts, and it's the same we've just got an amazing staff. We talk about this in our survey of, they're satisfied. We may not be at the top of the pay scale, but they're satisfied. We create a good environment for everybody to work in, and we respect them, and we know what they do for us. So anyway, just something to think about as we move forward. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Gray. Mr. Shawnee?
So welcome back. I hope everyone had a successful first day. Every time I think of the first day of school, I think about the smells of construction paper and crayons and freshly waxed floors. I had the opportunity to visit a bunch of my schools earlier in the week, and the teachers were just really excited. Everything looks great in terms of the outdoors and the inside. I was very impressed with everything. And I just want to add to David's comment about convocation. I thought it was fantastic. And then, of course, Chuck, you did a great job with the back to school. I did have a fun time picking up book bags because I don't get to do that anymore. So I bought a couple of book bags. Cars was my favorite. So anyway, and Ken, I'm hoping that we get to see you in the helmet once again, maybe. So unfortunately, I had business to attend to this week. I was out of town, so I couldn't participate in the special meeting where the votes were cast for the new cell phone policy. But for the record, I would have voted for option 2, but only because option 3 was off the table. I was saddened that option 3 was removed, but I was encouraged that option 2 put us on the right path forward. In my humble opinion, the best policy would have been option 3. And for people who don't know what that is, that's this off and away all day policy is what I like to call it. And as it turns out, I feel like I'm in actually pretty good company on this belief. An overwhelming majority of high school teachers and staff agree. And this would be a bell-to-bell policy from the beginning of the day to the end of the day. A majority of teachers actually do want these phones removed, not just during instructional time, but all day, because they know that this stop-start method of putting cell phones away and then back out again is really like giving candy to a baby and then pulling it away from them. So especially with the cell phone distractions and notifications, bullying, discipline, and so forth. I really feel that our teachers just want to teach, and they should be allowed to do their jobs without cell phones getting in the way. I bumped into so many teachers recently in the past couple days, and I got a lot of wonderful feedback from them and encouragement to say thank you for fighting for us, because we really do want to teach without these cell phones getting in the way. So just want to add a couple more comments. Do you know who else agrees with me on this off and away policy? I had a lot of SROs actually reach out to me too, because they believe that by getting the cell phones out completely, it would result in a 50% reduction in fights, discipline. No one likes to talk about sextortion, but it's out there. Sexual harassment and issues of pornography. I don't know who doesn't want to cut that in half. In addition, there's a lot of high-level staff that also agreed and supported this off and away all-day policy. Superintendent Dr. Ken Nicely, our Deputy Superintendent Dr. Jamie Solstice, Assistant Superintendent Dr. Jessica McClung, Director of School Counseling Dr. Sean Hughes, Executive Director of Administration Mrs. Tammy Newcomb, Executive Director of Secondary Education Mr. Mike Riley, and countless principals all support an off and away all-day policy. As well, a lot of middle school teachers, and I brought this up in the work session, they also support an off and away all-day policy. And I think we can't look the other way on this, and that's because the middle schools are already using this policy, and they like it. So they know it's working, and they know firsthand. There's this book that everybody's heard about, the New York Times bestseller by Jonathan Haidt, The Anxious Generation. asked a lot of my board members to read it. I don't think that many or any of them did. I'm going to tell the public right now, if you haven't read it, you have to get it and download it. This book sounds a 5-alarm fire on the harmful effects of cell phones on our students. There's a writer, her name is Emily Harrison, and she put an op-ed piece. She's with the Phone Free Schools movement. She's an ambassador, and I'm just going to quote what she said. Today's teens are more connected than at any point in human history, yet since the early 2010s, when cell phones became ubiquitous, rates of depression, anxiety, self-harm, and suicide have risen precipitously. On a graph, this looks like a hockey stick. Jonathan Haidt, the New York Times bestseller, also wrote, and I quote, "A phone ban limited to class time is nearly useless. This is why schools should go phone-free for the entirety of the school day. Phone-free schools are likely to bring about a rapid improvement in school board socializing and mental health." Again, that book, I really would encourage the public to read it. So I understand, and you mentioned this yourself, that it was important to get community feedback, and community input is always valued. However, my fear is that a mere 23% of parents who actually responded to their survey did not have adequate information when they were responding. So you don't know what you don't know. And when it comes to matters like these, we really must listen to our experts, our educators, our staff, and our senior level administration, who do know the facts, and they have the professional experience. So I really think it's important to put facts over feelings. It turns out that the Virginia Department of Education also agrees with me, because today they released their take on the model policy. It just came through the wire, as they'd say, and I'm going to read it because I took a screenshot. Lisa Coons and Amy Gadara had comments. This is from Superintendent of Public Instruction, Lisa Coons. The extensive input we received from Virginians was clear and direct. They asked for cell phones and personal electronic communication devices to be removed from our children's public schools during the school day at every level, elementary, middle, and high school. By refocusing our students' attention back into learning and away from their phones and social media, all our children will have a better opportunity to learn and succeed academically. That was from Lisa Coons. And Amy Gadara said, and I quote, "This draft guidance is a result of Virginians coming together and saying enough. Virginia parents and teachers have witnessed firsthand the damage cell phones in schools have had on youth's academic, mental, and physical health and social development. Communities are committed to implementing common sense approaches to restore vibrant and healthy learning environments for all our children throughout the Commonwealth. The Youngkin administration stands ready to support public schools, families, and communities as we change the culture around cell phones." So I'm a parent, and parents, you know what? We believed years ago that by giving our children smartphones that we were just being normal parents. And what we know now from the data is making our kids more anxious and depressed. We love our kids, and sometimes that means we have to tell our kids no. We want our kids to learn in school, so we have to tell them that they can't have their cell phones in classrooms. And we want our kids to learn how to make friends and navigate peer-to-peer interactions, and that means we have to give them time and space to do so. Lunch and breaks in between classes are the training ground for learning these important social skills. Putting kids behind these glowing screens makes learning to navigate friendships even harder, not easier. We also need to trust our teachers, our administration, and our SROs. In an unthinkable situation, we don't want our sons or daughters' phones going off with notifications and pings. We want your kids alert and paying attention to the adult in charge in the room. When our kids need to be silent, we don't want a call or a text to alert a perpetrator to our children's whereabouts. Now, you can communicate with your children anytime via a landline or the front office. I don't really know how we made it through 1993 to here, but 1993 we were able to survive. So when I ran for the school board position, I had one simple principle that I ran on, and that was to put students first. Do what's in the best interest of students. I just want to remind everybody that schools were not built for parents. Schools were not built for teachers. Schools were built for our students, to educate them. End of story. So sadly, the policy that was passed this week, it's not good enough. I think it's a step in the right direction, but it still flies in the face of recommendations from SROs, high school teachers, high school staff, middle school teachers, middle school staff, and our very own central office upper level administration. I am hopeful, however, with some education in our community, and as more and more see the national, state, and local trends, they will be willing to join the ranks of others before us, like the two largest divisions in the nation, LA and New York City, up in this state, Stafford, Hanover, Franklin, Montgomery, Charlottesville, to name a few, who all have an off and away all-day policy. There's over 190 school districts that have implemented bans on smartphones during the day. This is growing like wildfire. So tonight, I'm thanking my school board for taking a step in the right direction, but asking that this same school board in 3 to 4 months seek valuable input from our high school teachers and staff regarding the effectiveness of this new policy, which was option 2. Engage our teachers and staff desire to put option 3, off and away, back on the table. We must educate the community. Roanoke County can be a leader, and we can help our students and teachers now, or we can be a follower. Let's be leaders and train our kids to be leaders too. Thank you for listening. I know that was long. Everybody have a good night.
All right, thank you, Ms. Fashani. So, like Shelley, I got to watch my 2 kids go off to school today, and one started middle school, and I think he was more ready than I was. But fortunately, I still have one in elementary school, and like Mr. Greenway said, you know, if you're having a bad day or just any day in general, I start out dropping mine off at elementary, and it really starts my day off right. Seeing all the little smiles, the kids are just amazing. But something that really sticks out to me is I don't know of another profession that has people that are so just energized to start work. Like, I stopped in this morning and the staff are all outside. They're dancing around, they're smiling, they're hugging the kids. Like, everybody's happy to be here and everybody is happy to get to work with our most precious part of our society. And it was just amazing to see all of our teachers out there. I've been to some back to school nights, some orientation for my own children, and just seeing all the work and the heart that they put into making sure that our kids are comfortable, knowing where their classes are. Obviously, with my oldest going to middle school, I think he has 4 or 5 different places he has to go all over the building. And, you know, it's a big deal for him. And it was a big deal for me kind of watching him go around. But just seeing the hearts of our staff, I'm just so proud of them. I think we have the best kids and we have the most amazing staff. And I'm just thankful for that. And I want them to know that. I was unaware of Mr. Lineberg's loss, and my heart and prayer goes out for his family during this tough time. I can't imagine what he's going through and with school starting and everything he has on his plate. So I'll be sure to reach out to him soon. And congratulations, Simone Hamler. I know she's been here several times. That's an amazing young lady, and I hope that we do see her in the Olympics here in a few years. And all the recognitions, for that matter. Everybody does a great job. Herman L. Horn, I think, stole the show tonight. But,
Very, very good school.
Great school there. And I'm super excited for our groundbreaking. Like Dr. Nicely said, our CTE center is going to be great. Our 2 elementary schools, much needed. That's so exciting to see those kids be able to go here in a couple years to a brand new school. So we're going to keep on charging forward, and I look forward to everything we're going to accomplish this school year. So, meeting adjourned.